All right, welcome back to another episode of the Horsemen Pro Football Talk podcast. I am Brad.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we have a special guest. Today we're doing the AFC North. We're going to review the AFC North, and we have a special guest today. We have a Steelers fan with us, Matthew Dumsha. Is that right? See, it started early.
Yep, Matthew Dumsha, my name. Got that right.
Matt is here representing his team, the Ravens. So we appreciate you joining us today, and hopefully we'll learn a little bit about your team today.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there no one better to talk to than a true fan. Maybe we'll pick up some knowledge. So we're glad you're with us. All right, Zach, we doing trivia today?
Yep, I have 5 questions, and I'll have Matt versus Brad on this. So if you guys are ready, we'll jump into it. I'll go over the rules real quick, and we'll get to it.
Okay.
So I got 5 questions, 1 point per question. Questions 3 through 5, if you miss it, the opponent will have a chance to steal. It's the first to 3 points wins, or whoever has the most points after 5 questions. And Matt, if you win, we'll get you a free T-shirt when we're able to get that from the distributor. They're kind of way backed up right now. So, all right. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. Who has more head-to-head wins between the Ravens and the Steelers?
Steelers.
That is correct. 1 point.
Unfortunately.
What are the Zach? Do you know the count on that?
I did not write it down, but they're really close. I think the Steelers have by a few
got to be
games.
really close, especially with the last.
It used to be a bigger gap. I think kind of cut in on them a little bit these past couple years, but they got us by a handful.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, if we ever pass them, it'll be a really big deal in Baltimore. That a lot of people be celebrating. we've been trailing them, pretty much forever. Even though we have some good helps and, a lot of times neck with them, but there was a lot of years there where they just were stomping us. So that's from them that time.
Yeah. Okay. What you got, Zach?
All right. This one's for Brad. Who has more head-to-head wins between the Bengals and the Browns?
It's going to clearly be a guess. I mean, I could make a case for either of them, but I'm going to guess the Browns.
That is incorrect. It is the Bengals.
Bengals have had limited success throughout the past. A couple of Super Bowl trips, a couple of good seasons, and your favorite player, Chris Collinsworth, played for him for a long time, made a huge difference in the division.
Funny.
All right, Matt, you're up.
I think that's probably all right, go ahead.
All right, this one, if you get it wrong, Brad has a chance to steal. What year did the Browns last win a divisional championship?
Divisional championship?
Yes.
That was, I think it was when Derek Anderson was the quarterback. Or was it Tim Couch? I'm going to guess 2004.
2004? That is not the year. What do you think, Brad?
I don't know. It might go all the way back to Belichick in like 98 or something. But I don't know.
It was way back in 89.
Was it 89?
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Was it Bernie Kosar?
I don't even know who that is.
That's why I get screwed with you writing these questions, because you don't even know who Bernie Kosar is.
I think I was thinking of the wild card. That year they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that was Anderson at quarterback when they made the playoffs.
That was a wild card, though. Yeah.
Look, I got to know, do any of you know who Bernie Kosar is? Vinny Testaverde?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows Vinny.
Definitely Vinny Testaverde.
Bernie Kosar had a mullet when he was a quarterback for the Browns.
Isn't Vinny Testaverde the guy that ran into the wall and knocked himself out?
I don't know.
That sounds like him. He played for the Ravens. I think that was when it happened.
It might have been. All right.
That's when the Steelers. That's when the Steelers were racking them up on us back then. We didn't do much back then. Vinny could chuck the ball though, man. We used to score a lot back then.
So Vinny with the Browns when they moved to Baltimore? Is that how he
I
played for the Raiders?
believe he was. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Makes sense. Yeah. All right.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Other than Lamar Jackson, who was the last person from the AFC North to win an NFL MVP award?
Damn.
Was it Big Ben?
That is incorrect.
You set me up on that. You knew I'd say Big Ben.
Matt, would you like to steal?
Le'Veon Bell.
No, Boomer Esiason back in 1988.
Boomer.
Damn.
All right.
I never would have got that. I'm happy with my guess. Never would have got that.
They were good guesses. All right. If you get this one, Matt, you win. Which team has the second most AFC North / AFC Central divisional titles? The second most.
The second most AFC North / AFC Central titles?
Yes.
Could it be the Titans / Oilers?
That is incorrect.
Damn.
Brad?
I'm going to say the Browns.
That is also incorrect. It is the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know,
tough, man.
And because of the previous question, I thought, well, I should say the Bengals. I was like, no, Zach's trying to throw me off.
No, the Bengals have won 10. I think the Steelers have won a lot. I don't even know, 20-something.
They dominated through the 70s.
So, yeah, so Matt still won. We'll try to get you a T-shirt when we're able to do that.
Cool.
So,
very cool.
Good.
All right.
Thanks.
Well done.
Well, speaking of the Bengals, let's get started on that. I don't know if there's going to be a bigger train wreck this year than the Cincinnati Bengals. This is my gosh, this guy, their head coach is Zach Taylor. I don't even know who this guy is. I mean, I had to dig deep. You know, this guy has been he comes from the Rams, where he was a wide receivers coach for 2 years. Well, I think he was a wide receivers coach 1 year and maybe the quarterbacks coach 1 year. But he was an interim offensive coordinator for the Dolphins under Gase, I think. He was an offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bearcats for 1 year, and they were one of the worst teams in college football that year, and he was fired immediately. So, and now suddenly this guy's a head coach. This goes with this whole everybody wants these young coaches that haven't proven anything. Well, they got one, because I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Their offensive coordinator, Brian Callahan, he was the quarterback's coach for the Raiders, but he only has 8 years experience in the NFL, and he's never been an offensive coordinator. And the same thing with the defensive coordinator. He's never been a defensive coordinator before, and I think his experience is limited to about 8 years. So I don't know what in the hell's going on. They were 2-14 last year. These three coaches, the top three coaches, have 23 years combined coaching experience in the NFL. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win a game. I think they'll join the Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns, the only teams to ever go 0-16. You know, it's pretty stellar company. Way to strive for excellence. Bengals doing what they do best. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I haven't won in 3 games this year. Joe Burrow, he's going to be good down the road, but he's still a rookie and he's playing for the Bengals. So I don't think he's going to do a whole lot this year. Mixon can be very good, but he hasn't really showed out the way everybody thought he has. AJ Green's been hurt. John Ross got hurt last year, but they did draft T. Higgins in the second round, and I think he'll be a stellar wide receiver for them. But as far as this year and a couple years, I don't see the Bengals doing anything spectacular.
Yeah, I don't know about their future really. Joe Burrow, only had one good year in college. Granted, it was an incredible year, but he'll have one good year in college. So he's going to have to prove to me that he can sustain success in the NFL. But that might turn out to be a wasted pick sooner rather than later. I do like Joe Mixon a lot. He's a running back that you kind of build around. But their offensive line is it's terrible. I think the best PFF grade their offensive lineman had last year was like a 62.4 or something like that. And I mean, they upgraded, I believe, one position. They drafted a tackle in the draft. But outside of that, they didn't really change anything. So Joe Burrow's not going to have the protection, and Mixon's not going to have the holes to run through. Their offense isn't going to be efficient, and their defense got better through the draft and through free agency. But I still don't really see them doing a whole lot, and I have them going 0-16 this year.
What do you think, Matt? You want to weigh in?
All right, so I mean, I partially agree with you guys. They are going to suck. There ain't no way they're going to go 0-16. I think they're going to start off slow, and once that new quarterback gets more accustomed, I think they're going to be fun to watch because they always kind of are on offense, and then on defense, always tough. I mean, especially later in the year, maybe when they give up, which tends to happen with bad teams, in the middle of the year, but towards the end, they're going to want to play spoiler, which they're famous for. They've knocked us out a couple times. I don't think there's any way they don't get a win. I think they at least get 4 or 5 wins, but they're obviously a long way off from being competitive again.
Yeah, it's hard to go 0-16 in this league. I mean, it's equal. I think it's probably just as hard to go 0-16.
I don't see it. I mean, they're certainly capable of it, but I think that team and and kind of compete with like the Browns, and they always want to be better than the Browns, and then they're going to give the Steelers and the Ravens fits later in the year. Like I said, even if they're out of contention, they're one of the teams that's their Super Bowl, and they're going to be fighting like hell to knock one of us out of the playoffs. And I think after that quarterback gets a little bit used to the game and the speed of the game, I see them a couple wins, but like we're saying, I don't think it's going to be a lot. I don't think they're going to stun anybody, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. We all agree they're probably going to finish at the bottom of the division.
Yeah, unless the Browns just completely implode, which is possible.
Which is very possible. We're getting ready to get to that. I think we all agree with that.
I can't wait. I like getting on them too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the Browns then. All right. Kevin Stefanski. I think. I mean, we're getting a little better. Maybe. I don't know. The Browns are really riding high on this guy, and they're citing. They cite the first 2 games as offensive coordinator with the Vikings as they're touting him as this genius. All right. So the first 2 games are 418 yards and 41 points. Guess who it was against? The early version of the Tank for Tua Dolphins last year. Right. The first 4 games of the league, the Dolphins had no business even being in the league. I mean, you know how I feel about what's going on in Miami. I think they're building. They got a lot better the second half of the season, but the first 4 games, there was no direction. Second game, 340 yards and 27 points. Guess who? The Lions. Come on, guys. I mean, we're pinning our success of the franchise on 2 games against the Dolphins. I mean, we're not talking about the Ravens or the 49ers or the Packers. We're talking about the Dolphins and last year, early in the year, in the Lions. So they're praising for the Vikings being ranked 8th in scoring offense and 6th in rushing defense. Those stats are padded by the first 2 games, but they were 23rd in passing yards. They were a mediocre 16th overall. I don't know. Not that this guy can't coach. I don't know if he can or if he can't, but they're selling him like he's the savior of the franchise. And you need a hell of a lot more than Kevin Stefanski to save this franchise with what they've been through. So I don't know. He signed a 5-year deal. Mayfield's contract's up in 2022. What if this guy can't cut it? What if the learning curve is too steep? What if it takes 3 years to work out the bugs, and then you've blown up Mayfield's contract? Maybe he gets hurt, like we went through with Indianapolis and Andrew Luck. Maybe he just fizzles out because he didn't fit in the system. Whatever happens, or he goes somewhere else. I don't know. I think this is too much of a gamble. I think they needed to get with somebody that was going to come in right away and win. Maybe they think this is the guy. Obviously, I don't get it though. If Mayfield is the top level talent in this league and he is a franchise quarterback, I think the odds are they just squandered it. If I don't know, I guess it just is probably the odds are that it's just more of the same terrible decisions that have come out of Cleveland the last 2 decades. They'll be battling for bottom with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. They, I think I have them winning 6 games this year, so they'll be lucky to get that, in my opinion. It's a Browns coaching carousel. They're always filling in new coaches. You asked if they were trying to get somebody in there to win immediately, but no coach really wants to go to Cleveland. That's why they're always getting the bottom feeder kind of guy.
He's the 12th coach since 2000.
The 12th? Wow.
12th coach in 19 years.
That doesn't surprise me one bit. Yeah, it really is. But I think this is a big year for Mayfield. He either needs a shit or get off the pot, one of the two.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how well he's going to mesh with Stefanski, how well he's going to do. But as far as weapons, he's loaded. He has Nick Chubb, who was a Pro Bowler, Jarvis Landry, who's a Pro Bowler, Odell Beckham Jr. They signed tight end Austin Hooper this year. So he has the weapons. It's just a matter of getting the coaching in there and the right fit for Mayfield, and if he could stay healthy and get things done. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this year.
Yeah, I don't really have much faith in Baker. I tried to be a Baker guy because I want to see the Browns win, but I think he was overrated in college. I thought he was overrated coming to the pros. I don't think he's a guy that is ever going to lead a team to the playoffs, win some playoff games. He's just not that guy, which is unfortunate because they have a lot of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They've done such a good job bringing all those pieces around, and like bringing Kareem Hunt in helped the whole team last year once he was able to come back from suspension, and having Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And I could see them leaning more on them and getting more of the play action game going. But Baker just doesn't seem like that guy to me. Their offensive line is still a problem. They didn't really do a whole lot to upgrade it. They were ranked 23rd last year. They drafted a tackle with the 10th pick in the draft, but if he ends up being a bust, that's going to be a big time problem for years to come. I have them. Yeah, I think the defense is pretty good too. So overall, I have them going 10-6, but I don't have them.
You have the Browns 10-6.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay. You think we're getting ready to get to this. You think they best the Steelers this year?
No.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that in a minute. What do you think, Matt?
I think the Browns are a scrappy team, just kind of like the Bengals. I mean, they always give us a tough time, but I don't think they're building their franchise the right way. They've been trying to do some things, and I think they're trying to go too quick with it. Baker's good, but he's not going to change that structure of that losing franchise around. He's not going to be that guy to do that. That's going to be a longer process, and you're going to see little flashes like we did a couple years ago, his rookie year and all, because that sometimes can happen. But I think last year was more the reality of what you're going to see with Baker, and then you'll see some baby steps here and there. But I don't think that's going to. I think that he's going to be the guy that in theory they would like to build on and maybe take the next step as a franchise when, with another guy after him. I think, Baker's just going to kind of fill that spot as they build the team around him. The Browns are kind of like, I don't know. They want to, the NFL wants them to be good so bad, and they want to be relevant so bad, but they're just not. They're not going to be. They're a scrappy team, and I love the games that we play with them, but I just don't see it. I don't see it happening this year. I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals beat them out.
All right. Jeff,
no offense to any Browns fans, but
yeah, Jeff, you don't have the Bengals beating the Browns, do you?
No, don't have them beat anybody.
But I think we all agree that they finished third in the division. Sounds like everybody's in agreement there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know a lot of people that are not going to be happy that we're going to talk about the Steelers next instead of the Ravens. What did the fan poll say, Zach?
Well, Cincinnati and Cleveland both had 0% of the vote, but Pittsburgh. Yeah, I know, right? Pittsburgh had 22% and Baltimore had 78%.
Okay. All right. So we'll go with that. So if I get any complaints from my Steelers friends, we'll just refer them to the fan poll. They should have voted more often. Should have gotten all their family to vote. But the thing with the Steelers is I don't know what it is about this organization. We know with New England, we know why New England's winning. But the Steelers, man, they are the franchise that never goes away, and they've been doing it since the 70s, and it's quite remarkable.
They never will.
Yeah.
I wish they would, but never will.
Yeah, it's remarkable. So I've been on the fence about Tomlin, just trying to figure out if he's the real deal or not. But you can't argue with him. In the 2017 season, he became only the third coach in NFL history with a 500 record or better in his first 10 seasons with one team. Man, that is some kick-ass company. You can't argue with that. He's third behind John Madden and Curly Lambeau, crying out loud. We're not even talking, Bill Walsh and Bill Belichick. It's pretty remarkable. So, yeah, obviously the Super Bowl champion, but it was 12 years ago. There's been a little bit of a drought in Pittsburgh. They have 6, right? So it's been a while. They're in their hunt for their 7th. They finished 9-7 last year and 8-8 the year before. And you start to think, is the game passing by? But not so fast, because when we go back, the Steelers have had a couple of years where they finished right at 500 for 1 or 2 years in a row, and then bounce back. Like in I'm looking at it right now, 2012 and 2013, they went 8-8 both years. Then they bounced back the next year at 11-5 and win the division. Next year 10-6, second division. Next 11-5 and then 13-3. The 2 years after that, and they finished first in division. So I maybe we're retooling. We're getting everything locked and loaded to strengthen the team, make another run. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's a real deal. And I know there's some questions going on with some personnel that you guys will go over. But until proven otherwise, Tomlin is a former coach, probably on his way to the Hall of Fame. They can't be dismissed. As much as I think the Ravens are favored for this division, we're all going to agree on that. I don't think the Steelers can be dismissed as still a contender for the division. And I rest my case. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I have them 10-6 this year, the number 6 seed in the AFC playoffs. But I don't, as loaded as the Ravens are, which we'll get to that here very shortly, I don't see them winning it this year. But defensively, they're returning Pro Bowlers on all levels of the defense. You got the line, TJ Watt as linebacker. Then you have Joe Hayden on the outside and Minka Fitzpatrick as a safety. So defensively, they're solid. again, I don't think they can compete with how stacked the Ravens offense is. But yeah, I got him 10-6. It's all contingent on Big Ben staying healthy and how well he plays. James Conner can carry the workload pretty well. You got Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, Deontay Johnson. They need to step up. They did sign Eric Ebron. The question is it going to be Ebron for 99% of his career or the one good year he had with the Colts that's going to show up? So then you got Vance McDonald, who's all right tight end too. So he has the weapons. They could get it done. They did draft Chase Claypool. He's a 6'4" receiver at Notre Dame. Go Irish. I think he's going to step in there and do some big things this year. So that's about all I got on him. What do you think, Jeff?
I'm not. Well, I can't say I'm not confident with the Steelers because I have them second in the division. But I think Big Ben is going to come back this year and be more of a big bum after coming back off Tommy John. It's ruined some people's careers in the past. Obviously, it's more associated with baseball, but I just don't think Big Ben is anybody to worry about. James Conner can't figure out how to stay healthy. Juju Smith-Schuster is apparently only a number 2 receiver, and the rest of the wide receivers aren't really any good. Hopefully, Deion Kane can do something, though. I don't really know why the Colts ended up dropping him, but Deion Kane is with the Steelers. Hopefully, he can step up and do something. Ebron's probably going to quit on another team at some point. And they had the 9th best offensive line in 2019, so they have that going for them. The Steelers always have a good offensive line. The real thing with the Steelers is that their defense is elite. Like, there's no arguing that their defense is elite. And I think their defense is going to carry them to wins just like it did last season, but I don't think it'll equate to much. I have them going 12-4, though.
Okay. Do you have them losing both games to the Ravens, Jeff? What about you, Zach? Did you split them, or are they?
Yeah, I got them split.
It's that coin flip thing, man. When you go interdivision, and it's if you take more than 5 seconds to figure out who's going to win, you probably just need to give the home team the advantage, in my opinion.
Have them splitting 1-1.
Yeah, interdivision games, man. All bets go right out the window. What do you think, Matt?
I was kind of saying how much I hate Tomlin, but he's the man. I mean, the guy's a great coach. I think he's been the threads holding that team together the past 5-6 years. Can you guys hear me still?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, without Tomlin being in the conversation with Pittsburgh would be bottom feeders, and we wouldn't even really be talking about him. So I think he's been everything for him recently, and he deserves praise. I can't stand the guy, but I respect the heck out of him. Same with the team. I mean, he's the epitome of the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and they owe him a lot because he's pretty much carried their legacy on through these tough times. And if Ben Roethlisberger stays healthy, they're sitting right there. Best case scenario for as a Ravens fan, I'm hoping they go second place in the division. But if the Ravens trip up one bit, they'll be ready to snatch it right out of their hands. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So I'm always worried about that in the back of my mind because it's a real fear.
I really think this is really oversimplifying the equation, but I think it all depends on Lamar Jackson. I think if he stays healthy and he doesn't regress, which some players do, I don't think this kid will. I think he's the real deal, and I think if he stays healthy, I don't know that the Steelers defense can stop the Ravens offense. But we're getting ready to get into that. So let's talk about the Ravens. All right. John Harbaugh would be a guy that if we were doing this podcast in 2008, I'd be like, why the hell are they hiring this guy? Just like I did,
That's what everybody said.
Yeah, it is. That's why I'm bringing it up. And we're Indianapolis fans. We're all three from Indianapolis, so we're Harbaugh fans anyway. And both Jim and John. He retired with no experience. He won a Super Bowl. Appeared in 3 AFC Championship games. the last 2 years there was 10-6 and 14-2. Man, you don't go 14-2 unless you've got something figured out. The only complaint I have is that the freaking lost to Tennessee, and now the Tennessee Titan fans won't shut the hell up about winning the Super Bowl this year. They just keep Tannehill this and Henry that, and I'm like, geez.
I still don't know what the hell happened there. That was. I don't think they need to ever take a week off again, man. That was freaking horrible.
If you don't know what happened, ask a Titans fan. They'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure they got statues of what's his face up already. So we kind of jumped right on.
we're in an AFC South group, and these guys, they think the Titans are winning the Super Bowl. They really believe they're winning the Super Bowl this year. But you know what? Like Tomlin, Harbaugh's teams, they're always prepared. They're always competitive. He has the ability to win the division every year. And on top of that, in this coming year, they're arguably one of the top teams, in my opinion, maybe second to the Chiefs. It depends if the Chiefs can show out what they did last year, which I think they will. But it comes down to January, what you do in January, and I expect them to be right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think they're going to go 14-2. They'll be the number one seed in the AFC. I think this is the year they're going to get it done. They're probably going to end up winning the Super Bowl, to be honest.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No, they're stacked. They have 12 returning Pro Bowlers. You got Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Patrick Ricard, Mark Andrews, Ronnie Stanley, Orlando Brown, Matthew Judon, Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphreys, Earl Thomas, Justin Tucker, and Morgan Cox. And then they picked up Calais Campbell. So they're stacked all the way around. Harbaugh's got it running smoothly. The question is going to be whether Lamar Jackson's going to fade out or not. I don't think he will. Even without their Pro Bowlers, they still have Marquise Brown, Willie Snead, Miles Boykin on the outside, and then they picked up J.K. Dobbins in the draft. So they're just ridiculously good. So it wouldn't surprise me if they win the Super Bowl this year.
It's not a bad prediction at all. I have them winning a lot of games. I have them going 14-2 in the regular season. For a lot of the reasons Zach said, they had a lot of Pro Bowlers last year. There's a lot of talent on that team, and they only got better. And I like the draft pick of Patrick Queen in the first round. I think he's going to be, not a, Ray Lewis was a different kind of animal, but I think he can have that same kind of impact on the field that Ray Lewis had for all those years. And what you said, Zach, about Lamar, if he drops off, it won't be the same team. Lamar got better every year in college and has continued to up his numbers every year since he got in the league. And I don't expect that to stop John Harbaugh and his squad of coaches. Seem like the kind of people that they're mastering the development game and showing throughout the entire team. They've lost pieces throughout the year and they just stay elite. Or at least relevant, you know what I mean? And I have high hopes for them. The Ravens have always been my second favorite team, so it'd be cool to see them win a Super Bowl. But for our purposes, I got them going 14-2 in the regular season and dominating a lot of people.
All right. What do you think, Matt? We know what you think, but we want to hear it anyway.
16-0, go Ravens. Thanks for having me, guys. I gotta go get water. That would be all. The Ravens are going to be. They're supposed to be very good. Like I kind of threw around earlier, though. I got stuff I'm worried about as a diehard fan, and you'll talk to a lot of people who like I've talked to Patriots fans before, dominant, and they always sound nervous. Like, and I think when you know a team, with your heart like I do, you look at it a little differently. And we've been here before. We've got very high expectations, and I think that's when we are extremely vulnerable. And we showed that last year in the playoffs. There was the expectations were as high as they could be all year during bye week and going into the playoffs. And what happened? The Tennessee Titans, your boys, ran all over us. So the Ravens that's the chink in their armor. They get in their own heads. They think they're on top of the world, and they kind of are at certain spots. And then I don't know what it is with them. They always what gets them. They're the underdog team. They always have been the underdog team. And that's why they've been so good and so fun to watch, because nobody ever likes them. People disrespect them. Media disrespects them, and they feed off of that. And, it goes all the way back, like that legacy talk, what I was saying with the Steelers. And it goes all the way back to the days of Ray Lewis and Brian Billick. John Harbaugh came in, and he adopted that. And and that's what they thrive off of. So Ravens coaching staff, I'm looking at the Chiefs, and I'm saying, I just got them circled. That's how you keep the Ravens. Of course, it's the Steelers. It's always about winning the division first with them. You beat the Steelers, beat the Steelers, beat the Steelers. Then it was always beat the Patriots. Well, now they're out of the conversation, and now it's the Chiefs. We want to be what they are when it comes to the playoffs and postseason. So, I think there's a very fine line there between success and utter failure with the Ravens. I really do. I think they could go anywhere from 16-0, or Lamar Jackson could get hurt, or they could suffer another couple of injuries and be really bad. I know a lot of people don't think that, but like I said, just team year in and year out, and knowing how they operate, they tend to get a little in their own heads, I guess I'll put it. So. Having said that, the defense going to be freaking lights out. I'm more at the defense than I am the offense. I love watching this defense. I'm really excited about the playmakers they have on defense. Last year, and now, Campbell. That's freaking awesome. So I cannot wait to watch this defense. I hope they shut out everybody they play. I hope they get double-digit sacks and, interceptions, runs, all that good stuff. And now, as far as the offense, Lamar Jackson, he's awesome, and there's no reason he shouldn't continue to get good. But I'm a little concerned about the offense, especially the interior of the O-line. The outsides are good, but the interior of that O-line, I think, could be an issue. And teams are going to start to how to take it back. They know what they're doing, coaches and they all, especially the Steelers playing us twice, and the Chiefs if we see them again, and they're going to take advantage of certain situations, and I do middle of the O-line possibly being an issue, and how they would attack that, I have no idea. I'm not that much of an X and O's guy. I'm sure there's something they can come up with. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm very excited, but I'm a little worried. I am.
Yeah.
Still think we win the division, though.
Well, and I think, you brought up some great points, and Zach, I'm with you. I think we get to see what kind of a kid Lamar Jackson is. We get to see how bad getting upset in the playoffs stings. Kids had to chew on that all year long. He's either going to come out, and there's a lot of things he could do. He could just not care. I don't see that with this kid at all. He could come out and try too hard. That's a great possibility. But with what we've seen from this kid so far, and with the way the coaching staff is, I think they have broken this down and they have reviewed it. And I think he probably has a fire underneath him, but he has a calmness on top. And I'm with you guys. I wouldn't be surprised. It's ridiculously hard to go 16-0, ridiculously hard. But if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
The thing too, you got, and that with Lamar's development, you got to realize these guys dealt with Joe Flacco for 10 almost. So cool Joe. That's one thing he could do was stay calm. Probably a little too much, times, but he could just stay calm. And I think that this whole coaching staff kind of learned how, from the way Joe did it and working with, they know how to keep a quarterback calm. Even if Lamar is not, obviously not, like Joe Flacco was saying, they can kind of use the example already established with him and get Lamar to fall right and say, okay, I'm determined, but I'm not going to go do nothing crazy. I'm going to go overboard with it, And there's not much to not like about the Ravens right now. It's just a superstitious fan here that's worried. But other than that, this is this is the time to enjoy being a Ravens fan.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell you how important what I think is, because I hate the Ravens. Everything I just said is with a baseline that I hate I hate Ray Lewis. I hate the organization. I got into it with Baltimore fans after the Colts moved to Indianapolis. But I'm telling you, they may be the team to beat in the AFC. I agree with that. The Chiefs are right there. That man, that'll be a hell of an AFC championship. Without
Oh yeah, I mean, I see them. Like I said, I see them. You can't keep losing to the same team, over and over again, and in the playoffs and in the high stake game. And just the personality of our team is, we did it with the Patriots. It's just they'll knock us off a couple times, but eventually we're going to get them. And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen this year.
Yeah, I agree. All right, gentlemen, any last words? Zach, Jeff?
Got nothing from me.
Yeah. I don't think it should be understated the retirement of Marshall Yonder, one of the best, if not the best guard to ever play football. I think that's going to be
Yep.
All right. That it?
I agree with you. I agree completely. That mirrors what the interior of the O-line. Yep, you're dead on with that. It's my biggest concern.
All right. Matt, we appreciate you joining us and giving us your 2 cents.
You guys.
That was very insightful.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, guys, a lot, man. You guys know a lot of stuff too, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Tell all your friends, man. Tell them you were on TV and make them watch. It just makes us feel good when we go up.
All right, guys. You're all right for a bunch of freaking Colts fans.
It was nice to meet you, Matt.
I'd rather hang out with Steelers fans.
That's saying something. Jeff hates Steelers fans, right?
Yeah, not a big fan. Never met one that I like. Probably never will.
It's all in good one.
Yeah. All right, so next up we have AFC South. Is that correct?
NFC.
I'm sorry, NFC South. And and we have is that all we have left? The NFC South and the AFC South?
That is all.
Saving the best for last, AFC South.
That's right.
All right, cool. So we appreciate you joining us. We'd love to hear from you. The NFC North is up next. Or I'm sorry, the NFC South is up next. If you're an NFC South fan, we'd love to hear from you. And maybe we'll have you on the show, and you get to teach us a little bit about your team as well. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends, hype us up. It makes us feel good. And thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.